Hello all. In today's lecture, we are going to learn about overheads. So first of all, learn about the meaning of overheads. Overhead is the total of indirect material cost, indirect labor cost, and indirect expenses. As we have already discussed in the first lecture, there are two kinds of expenses. First is direct expenses and second is indirect expenses. Direct expenses are those expenses which are directly related to the production of goods and services. That means all those expenses which are there to produce either goods or services are known as direct expenses. Direct expenses can be raw material, it can be labor and direct expense. But on the other hand, indirect expenses are those expenses which are not directly related to the goods produced, or you can say units produced. In case of direct expenses, as we are going to produce more and more units, that means if the unit produce increases, the total direct expenses also increases. And as the units produced decreases, the cost of direct expenses decreases. But in the indirect expenses, as the goods increase, that means as the number of units produced increases, it will not affect the indirect expenses. Or if the units produced decrease, it will not affect the indirect expenses. Let's take an example. Suppose you are paying rent for a factory. So whether 1 unit is produced or 0 units are produced or 1000 units are produced, you have to pay the same rent. So indirect expenses has no relation with the number of units produced. Plus, whenever the units are produced, a factory can produce 2 or 3 or more than 3 different kinds of product. So in a factory, there are two kinds of departments. One is production department and one is service department. And again, production department has different diversions. For example, company is producing 4 different kinds of product. So production department has 4 different divisions for each product. So if we talk about the rent of a building being an indirect expense, that indirect expense that is being used for production department also and for the service department also. So we can say that we cannot identify the rent of a building, which means that we cannot identify that rent of a building is used either for producing product X or product Y or product Z, or it is being used for service department. So we can't estimate the cost per unit with the help of indirect expenses. So as per the CIMA definition, indirect cost can be defined as expenditure on labor, material or services which cannot be conveniently identified with a specific saleable cost per unit. So in order to calculate the cost per unit of producing 1 unit, we have to divide the indirect expenses among the production department and service department. The distribution of indirect expenses among production department and service department is known as apportionment of overheads. As we have already discussed, there are two kinds of department in a factory, production and service department. So here are few of the expenses according to which they are being distributed. Repairing expenses are distributed by direct analysis. Indirect material is distributed by direct analysis. Store expenses are distributed either according to the wages received by the labor or as per quantity or the value issued of material. Heating expenses are distributed according to cubic capacity or surface area of the department. Steam power, water power, air power expenses are distributed according to the estimated or actual use. Cost of office expenses are distributed according to direct wages. Welfare expenses are distributed according to number of workers or amount of wages. Payroll or timekeeping expenses are distributed as per direct analysis from the wage book. Factory miscellaneous expenses are distributed according to direct labor hour. Gas and water expenses are distributed according to consumption. Depreciation on building is distributed according to surface area. Depreciation on plant and machinery is distributed according to the valuation and rate of depreciation of plant and machinery in each department. Fire insurance of building is distributed according to area, and machine and equipments are distributed according to the value. Power is distributed according to consumption, and light is distributed according to the consumption of carpet or floor area. Now let's see how the service department distributes its expenses. Under service department, maintenance department issued its expenses as per the services acquired or working hours by the production department from maintenance department. Employees and welfare department expenses are distributed according to number of workers employed. Store department expenses are distributed as per the quantity of material or value of requisition slips. Purchase department expenses are distributed as per the number of purchase order or value of purchased material. Timekeeping and payment department is distributed as per the number of workers or as per direct labor hours or machine hours. Internal transport department expenses are distributed as per the load of material or distance covered. Now let's understand with the help of an numerical. Now the question says ABC Limited has 3 production department X, Y and Z and 4 service department. The expenses of these departments as per primary distribution summary are as follows. Expenses of X are 45,000, expenses of Y are 40,000, expenses of Z are 35,000, which means total expenses of the production department is 1,20,000. Service department has 4 parts. That means service department is further divided into 4 departments. Store department expenses are 10,000. Timekeeping department expenses are 9,000. Power expenses are 4,800 and canteen expenses are 3,600, which means the total expenses of service department are 27,400, which means the total expenses of a company is expenses of production department plus expenses of service department amounting to rupees 1,47,400. Now you have to remember, whenever we are distributing the expenses are distributed only to the production department because only the goods are being sold in the market. So we have to calculate the cost per unit of goods produced. So whenever the service department is there in a company, you have to distribute all the expenses of service department towards the production department. Additional information is also available with respect to production department. Since we know that there are three production department, Department X, Department Y and Department Z. Horsepower of machines expenses are given to be, that means Department X uses 900 horsepower, Department Y uses 900 horsepower and Department Z uses 600 horsepower. Number of workers in Department X, 40 men are working, in Department Y, 30 men are working and in Department Z, 20 men are working. Value of stores requisition, that means for Department X, store requisition worth rupees 5,000 is utilized. In Department Y, store requisition amounting to rupees 3,000 is utilized and in Department Z, store requisition amounting to rupees 2,000 is utilized. Now in this question you have to apportionment, that means you have to distribute the cost of service department into the production department. Now let's solve it. So first of all you have to make the table. The first column will consist of items, that means you have to show which items are there in the first column. Second column consists of basis of apportionment, that means on which basis we are dividing the items. Next column will be for total, and over here we are going to write the total of expenses. Now since service department is to be divided into production department, so over here we have to write production department. We have 3 production department, it's X, Y and now first of all, let's see what is the expenses of production department. So over here it's given the expenses of these department as per primary distribution summary is for X is 45,000, for Y 40,000 and for Z 35,000. So let's write it over here. So cost as per primary distribution summary is given to be total is 1,20,000. For X it's given to be 45,000. For Y it's given to be 40,000 and for Z it's given to be 35,000. Now we have to distribute all the expenses of service department among the production department. Now if we see the expenses of service department, the first expense is store department. So first of all we have to distribute this 10,000 among the 3 production department. So first of all we have to distribute the stores department expenses. Stores department. Now store department expenses is 10,000 and this 10,000 is to be divided into as per store requisition. Store requisition. Now the problem arises how to divide it. Now one way is that you have to see how much amount of store requisition is written over there. You have to calculate the ratio. So if we see the ratio is coming is to be 5:3:2. So which means I have to divide it in the ratio of 5:3:2. If you are going to divide 10,000 into 5:3:2, you will get 5,000, 3,000 and 2,000. Now let's see how we have got this amount. So first of all you have to add all this. 5 plus 3 plus 2 is 10. So for X it will be 10,000 multiplied by 5 divided by 10. For Y it will be 10,000 multiplied by 3 upon 10 and for Z it will be 10,000 multiplied by 2 upon 10. Next expenses is timekeeping. So timekeeping is 9,000. So let's start with the timekeeping. Timekeeping amount is given to be 9,000. Now let's see how to divide the timekeeping. Timekeeping is to be divided as per number of workers. So we can write number of workers. Now if we are going to see number of workers, it's 40, 30 and 20. So calculate the ratio. It will be 4:3:2. 4:3:2. So we have to divide 9,000 among 4:3:2. So how to do it? Just add it. 4 plus 3 is 7. 7 plus 2 9. So over here it will be 9,000 multiplied by 4 by 9. So it will be 4,000. Next will be 9,000 multiplied by 3 upon 9. So it will be 3,000. Next will be 9,000 multiplied by 2 by 9. So it will be 2,000. Next comes to be power. Power is given to be 4,800. So let's divide power. Power is given to be 4,800. Now power is to be divided as per horsepower of machines. So I can write horsepower of machines. Now if you are going to see the ratio, it will be 9:9:6 or you can say 3:3:2. So it will be 3:3:2. Now if you are going to divide it, so the total will be 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 plus 2 8. 4,800 multiplied by 3 divided by 8, it will be 1,800. Next will be 4,800 multiplied by 3 divided by 8, it will again comes to be 1,800. Next will be 4,800 multiplied by 2 divided by 8, it will be 1,200. Next comes to be canteen. Canteen is given to be 36,000. Canteen is given to be 3600. So let's divide the canteen part. So canteen amount is given to be 3600. So canteen means meal, and meal is being provided to the workers. So it will be divided as per number of workers. The number of workers are divided in the ratio of 4:3:2. So let's divide 3600 into 4:3:2. So first total it 4 plus 3 7, 7 plus 2 9. So 3600 multiplied by 4 divided by 9, it comes to be 1600. Next will be 3600 multiplied by 3 divided, it will be 1200. Next is 3600 multiplied by 2 divided by 9, it will be 800. Now we have distributed all the expenses. So now what we have to do, we have to total everything. So first of all, we should do the total side. So let's write total. So the total of this total and total of all these departments should be same. So first of all, add 1,20,000 plus 10,000 plus 9 plus 4,800 plus 3,600. It comes out to be 1,47,400. Now if we are going to total the total of X, 45,000 plus 5,000 plus 4,000 plus 1,800 plus 1,600, it will be 57,400. Next 40,000 plus 3,000 plus 3,000 plus 1,800 plus 1,200, it will be 49,000. And last 35,000 plus 2,000 plus 2,000 plus 1,200 plus 800, it will be 41,000. Now if we are going to total 57,400 plus 49,000 plus 41,000, it will be 1,47,400. And you can check over here, our total is given to be 1,47,400. So in this way, we are going to distribute the service department to the production department. Hope you have understood the concept. Thank you.